If you've ever driven on Washington Street to head down to South Norwood, you might have noticed a store on the corner called Norwood Monumental Works, or as it's locally known, Mazzola's. One of the people carving those monuments is president and owner of the company, A.J. Mazzola.
We are a monument company, manufacturer of monuments, and we are located at 943 Washington Street. You got to go as far back as 1922. My grandfather came over from Italy, and he wasn't really a carver of stone yet. He was more like an artist, so he drew. So when he first came over here, he would draw roses and sculptures and the Blessed Holy Family. And someone noticed his talent in Quincy and said, "Have you ever cut stone?" And he said, "Not really, but I'm willing to give it a try." So he took his artistic work into what they call sculpturing. And he was a hand-carved sculpturer as well as a artist for doing the design work for a monument company, all the monument companies in Quincy. So he decided to open up his own monument company, and when he did, he lost it during the Depression. So like everybody else, he struggled through that. And then when everything started to come around again, he decided to move out of Quincy and into Norwood. So then when he passed away, my father took it over and kind of restructured this place here in '72. And it's become what it kind of is today right now as you see it.
The Mazzola name has been carving stone at this location since just after the Great Depression, and despite the middle of the building catching on fire in '91 and a good portion of it falling down, nothing changed the fact that the Mazzola name has become synonymous with headstones. One thing that has changed, however, is the way monuments get carved.
Well, it's quite different today. So my grandfather was a sculpturer. My father became a shape carver, which is shaping the flowers. So in the '70s, what happened was they came up with sandblasting, and it's sand and air mix in which we carve the stones with the sandblast. So when I came into it, when I was around 14 years old, my father told me, "Don't get involved with the hand sculpturing, get involved with the sandblasting." So I became a shape carver and a letter cutter too. The computers now, I used to draw all the flowers by hand, and we would just blow them up on the side of a wall and just make them the size that you would want, and then trace them, and then rub it off, and then cut it, and then do all that stuff. Now the computer cuts it on rubber stencil for me, and then my son, who's the 4th generation, he comes in and he does all the shaping, but it's already cut out on the rubber for him. So he just has to shape the flower, put it back, and then blast it in deep. So it saves time.
You might wonder what makes Mazzola's different from the rest, and that answer lies in the workshop out back and in the hands of Mazzola and his son, Ryan.
Well, we do our own work. So most monument companies in the surrounding areas, they are monument dealers. So they will sell you the stone. We haven't created the actual stone. It came in already cut like a headstone, but we created what it looks like. And this is what everybody's interested in. This is the, from the heart type of stuff, how you design. They can personally design a headstone for their loved one from start to finish. And we want to be part of that. So how would we become part of that? By doing it. And then we have a working shed out back, and we go out back there and we pull the stones in, lie them down, and we go from start to finish. So when people come in and say they wanted to price something out, and they shop it around, and they come back and they say, "Now you tell me that you all buy your granite off the same people, but why are you $500 cheaper? Why are you $800 cheaper? What's wrong with your granite?" So there's nothing wrong with my granite, but we do our own work. So I pay myself and my son a week's pay. And if we can do 20 stones in a week, I make out pretty good. So if I have to work on someone's stone for 5 hours or 5 days, it doesn't matter to me. When I give them a price, it's all included. Everything is included. Most monument dealers sub everything out, and then they have to cover that cost. So by us having that functioning shed out back, and me being able to have help like me and my son do it, that helps me be competitive against my competitors as far as if you're going to buy a headstone off of me.
While AJ estimated around 90% of Highland Cemetery is Mazzola cut stone, there is no job he will say no to, no matter how far the final resting place of your loved one may be.
I've got stones out of state. Yeah, I go all along New England. Rhode Island. It's just, we don't say no. I don't say no to a job. If someone's willing to come here, Norwood, and buy a stone for wherever they are, then I take that as, I can do that. I can make that happen. So there is no mileage limit on where I will go to install a headstone for someone.
943 Washington Street has been Mazzola's location for over 90 years. They've been in business for over 100, and Norwood has been a part of that history for just as long.
I love it. The town's just big enough. I mean, the cemetery's very large, so I mean, it's a large populated town as far as I'm concerned. The experience growing up in Norwood, I grew up at the end of the street and I worked down the other end of the street, so there was no getting away from it. It was a dead end street up here, and there was one way in, one way out. There was no not working here. And the people know us. Like for the last 16 years since Heidi Sullivan, my secretary, took over, she's like, you really don't need to do so much marketing for yourself. You've been here for 103 years. She's like, your name is synonymous with headstones.
The process of picking out a headstone can be very difficult, and Mazzola's only goal is to make it easy on his customers and make them happy and satisfied with the finished product.
I like serving people. When people come in here, it's not a good day. They're not coming in to buy a brand new car. They're not leaving with something that's going to put a real big smile on their face. But when I'm done, they always come back and say, you've made a difficult situation easy. I try to make them laugh. I try to make them get into actually picking out what they want specifically for the stone. And that brings me joy when, at the end of the day, if they told me, I have to have this on the stone, it meant so much to us, and then I create it and put it on the stone, then they look at me and go, you nailed it. That's the ultimate feeling.
To learn more about Mazzola's Norwood Monumental works, you can find them on Facebook, go to their website, or stop right in at 943 Washington Street.